housing facilities.
Those
as well,
motivated by power
people
and
basically
money
are coming from Donbass with little more than the
Underestimate you.
shirts on their backs.
They will
trying to
never
flee
understand why
this conflict
people stand
and
by your
not
neighbor
knowing what's going to come tomorrow.
for no personal gain.
We
They
also
didn't plan for
visited a
that.
train station where
Lori, thank you so much for that.
a lot of evacuees have been going there to take trains to different Russian regions for longer-term stay as well.
Yeah, that's
And we
right.
also
Oh, yeah,
spoke
that's right. His
actually
brother
to,
donated. Yeah,
one
that's
family
right.
that agreed to shelter
Yeah, I know.
a
It's
family
crazy.
of,
I saw it. I did see that
evacuees.
too.
This is
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that a lot of individual
then,
Russian citizens,
tried to retract
especially in
that.
the Rostov region, are taking upon themselves to help out, to help these people who are fleeing war. They're
Yeah.
taking evacuees into their own homes,
Amazing how fast
giving
that
them
information
food
got out, right?
and living with them until they find out when the situation is going to be better. and
Cheers,
these
it's
people can
Holiday
go
Monday
home. But
for,
unfortunately, we
brothers and
we have
sisters
no
in
idea when
America,
that's
of
going to
course,
be.
Presidential Day and Family
These are
Day
Donald
in
Corder and, of course,
Canada.
our senior correspondent, Marek Gazdiyev, as well. Both of you, thank you.
Oh, yeah. That's how I know we were
Let's
talking
learn
about
more
that,
Cross
right?
Live now to Jonathan Steele, a journalist and international affairs commentator here on the program
Yeah.
this evening. Very good evening to you, sir. Thanks for joining us during
We're,
our breaking
coming
news
up with,
coverage here
channel
on RT.
ideas,
Is
channel
it a
names.
big deal as we stand by now for the televised speech from the Russian president? Apparently he is going to recognize the autonomy of
Hit
these
that like,
republics,
Krishan,
these
says thank
republics
you.
in eastern Ukraine.
Thumbs it
Is
up,
this a
almost
big deal,
6,000
sir?
likes.
And how does this affect the whole
Thank you.
Ukraine equation?
It is an extremely big deal, very big indeed.
Thank you so
really
much.
means that the Minsk Accords, which were signed in 2015,
appreciate it. Thank you.
are dead, because they provided for
Appreciate it.
integration eventually of
Susie
these
Di
republics
Bella.
back into Ukraine after they've been
Pura
given
vida.
full autonomy,
La Salvo.
language rights,
Amen.
and so on. So this is now
Amen.
tearing up the
Amen.
Minsk Accords.
Thank you so much for
It's a very
that.
high-risk
Cheers.
strategy by President Putin.
Thank you so much for that.
It is dubious international
Susie.
legality, and President Putin may suffer a great deal of reputational damage in the international public opinion arena because he's acting very impetuously, one might say, in taking this step without previous discussion or any warning of it.
Would this
Oh,
theoretically
yeah.
take
Is it
war
really
off the
only in
table?
Ontario? Ah.
Well, it depends what the reaction of the Ukrainian government is. If they were to try and preempt this decision by militarily attacking Donbass.
The only thing is the channel's not going to be Freedom. It's just going to be a StreamYard channel, right? So
Because obviously the Russian troops would come in and defend the territory in large numbers. The troops would come in.
Streaming during
and
the
so we
vote.
would be facing
Not
a
sure. I'll probably be
major
on the
war
road.
in the eastern part of
Be
Ukraine.
driving back to
So
Toronto.
It very much depends on the Ukrainian government.
Yeah, I'm not
reaction,
sure.
whether they-
I might be
they
back
take
before
it
then,
and
but
accept that it's now
no
lost,
plans
or
to stream
whether
during
they
the
try
vote
and win it
anyway.
back militarily.
The Jeff channel. There we go. Idaho.
Agreement.
That's funny.
Agreement that they've been trying to implement now for
Yeah.
7 or 8
The
years.
channel
Putin
name's
keeps
Jeff.
complaining that Kiev is not
I'd
implementing
probably for the StreamYard
particularly,
channel, I wouldn't have a
section
69
number
on it
11.
though.
But there are
yeah.
many Ukrainians, though, certainly there in the Duma, that say they are supporting the Minsk agreement. It's difficult to get a clear picture here. But what about the Ukrainian side of this? What about Kiev's position here with Putin potentially recognizing autonomy? Where does Kiev stand?
Well, Kiev is really to blame for the lack of implementation of the Minsk Accords. That's why this decision to recognize
someone did a channel ideas.
if it happens in a few minutes' time,
Still
will
5,400
be a
in
game
the chat.
changer.
We're almost at
Blame will
6,000.
now be
Thumbs
much
up,
more on
thumbs up
Russia
if you forgot.
than on
Thank you so much,
Ukraine.
guys.
Until now, people were saying, independent people, not just supporters of Ukraine, independent people were saying that it's
Yeah,
up
that's
to
right.
them,
Majority are.
up to
Majority are
Ukraine
honking,
to
yeah.
so implement the accords, and they shouldn't just sit on their hands and denounce the accords and say they need to be changed and they're unacceptable and so on, which is what they've been saying up till now. But Ukraine is to blame for the lack of progress, but now Russia
Caesar.
will be blaming for really sort of knocking the chessboard over all pieces of the floor.
What about, we had a report from London earlier with our correspondent talking about discussing possible sanctions.
I love Diesel, yeah. Oh, there's construction channel. Thank you, yeah. On Do It All Ceiling, yep. I do have
the mother of all sanctions.
2 other YouTube channels, of course, Jeff Lapard and Do It All Ceiling. Feel free to check those out too as well.
Kiev potentially sanctioning its own people in eastern Ukraine, cutting off social benefits, heating, essentially what is an economic blockade for these people in the middle of winter. Why is no one talking about that?
Well, there hasn't been very much reporting of that at all. And it is a pity that there isn't more media coverage and that these things, in a way, come out of the blue. But the OSCE, which has been monitoring, has had teams that issue daily reports. They haven't been reporting on major fighting going on in the last few days. They've said there has been increasing shelling, but not the unprecedented amount. There have been periodic periods before in the last 8 years, since 2015, 7 years, where there have been intensification of shelling, and then it's died down again. So the OSCE hasn't been reporting on such massive violations of human rights as apparently we're now seeing, according to Russian reports.
So talk to us. I was just going to say, I do beg your pardon, sir. You're just going to have to stand by, Mr. Steele. Jonathan Steele, Foreign Affairs and International Affairs commentator, just stand by for us if you will. I want to keep talking to you in just a moment here if I can. We are on standby here at RT International. We're going to go straight now to the Russian president, who is standing by with his televised address. Please have a listen to this.
About why it is so important for us, for Russia. Of course, my address is also aimed at our fellow citizens in Ukraine. We'll have to have a substantive and detailed conversation.
She's always in the
about
chat.
matters
She's always in the
very
chat.
Serious.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he is. He's horrible, right?
Situation in Donbass is becoming critical. And today
Oh, yeah.
I'm addressing you directly, not only to talk about what's happening, but also to inform you about
What is
the
with that
decisions
costume
we're
anyway?
making
What do you think?
about possible steps.
I can't
in this
figure it out.
regard.
The chat's trying to
Once
figure
again,
it
I
out.
would like to underscore that
okay.
Ukraine is
I
not
don't
just
know.
a
It
neighbor,
just,
neighboring country
well, you know,
to us.
you definitely get
It
noticed,
is an
but I
inherent
didn't.
part of our
no.
own history,
There,
culture,
we got giraffes.
spiritual
We got,
space. They are our
we
comrades,
got lots of giraffes in the
relatives,
chat.
not only
I don't know where it came
colleagues,
from, but hey,
friends,
whatever.
but also
Hey,
our
whatever, man.
family. People we have
Wear a
blood and family
costume, whatever
ties
you want to
with.
do.
Since ancient times, people
forgot
from
my giraffe
ancient
suit.
southwestern Russian lands were called themselves,
She,
were calling
yeah,
themselves
we could have brought
Russians
the sheep
and
suit. That would have
Orthodox.
been all right.
That was happening until 17th century
Oh,
when
what a
part of these
situation. Cheers,
territories
guys.
were
5300 in
joined
the
to
chat.
Russian
Live on
Empire,
YouTube platform,
Russian
Channel
state.
169.
And after that,
Share.
it seems
Share
that
it,
we
like, and
know all
subscribe.
about
Thanks,
this,
guys.
that we are
And
talking
keep an eye on
about
the community tab. I will post that fourth
that
channel.
everyone knows, but at the same time,
And of course,
we need to have understanding.
checking out your
what is
ideas
happening
for
today
channel
to
names. I'll
explain
figure something
motives
out.
and
But
aims that Russia
yeah,
has.
we'll have that
We need
channel
to
up
say a couple of
for
words
StreamYard
about the history of
editions.
this matter.
And yeah,
I would like to start by
if
saying
nothing
that the
pops
modern
up
Ukraine
before the
is
weekend, I'll definitely go live on that new
completely
channel,
created
and we'll
by
have a
Russia.
StreamYard edition and chit
To
chat.
be more exact, by Bolshevists,
But,
Bolshevik
yeah, just stay
communist
tuned.
Russia. This
Just
process has
stay
started
tuned.
almost immediately after the 1917 revolution. And Lenin and his
That's right.
supporters
See,
did
Mary.
it in a rough way.
Ah,
We talk
thank you so
about
much for
Russia.
that,
They were
Sue.
alienating
Now you must keep on
Parts
keeping on.
historical
Peace and
territories
hearts.
of Russia.
Thanks so much for that.
And millions of people who lived there. Obviously, no one asked anything.
So I'm still here.
Then before the Great Patriotic War in Afrin, Stalin added to the USSR and handed
Oh, there's
over to
garbage over
Ukraine
there.
some lands that belonged to Poland and Hungary. And as a compensation, Stalin gave
Garbage out.
ancient German lands to Poland. And in the 1960s, Khrushchev decided to take Crimea away from Russia and also gave it to Ukraine. That's how the territory of the Soviet
We're not going to go
Ukraine
too
was
crazy
formed.
long today.
But now I would like to draw
Keep
your
it going a little
attention
bit longer here.
to the
And
initial
then we're going
stages
to
of
probably
establishment
do
of the
lunch and then
USSR.
head
I
back
think
to Toronto.
It's of utmost importance for us because we have to start.
I
from
imagine
afar.
this is going to go on all
I'd
day
like to
though
remind
today.
you that
So
after the October Revolution of 1917 and the civil war that followed, Bolsheviks started building a new state. And
Yeah,
they
cheers.
had some differences among them. Stalin, who in 1922 was at the same time Secretary General of the
5100
Soviet
in the
Communist
chat.
Party
Like, share,
and
subscribe.
People Commissar on the matters of ethnicities, decided to build the country on the
Nice.
principles of autonomy, thus giving to the republics, to
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
future
for sure.
administrative units, wide authority when they were
Actually,
supposed
these
to
ones are
join
waving.
the
But there
state.
was,
Lenin
yeah, people are
criticized
still
this
giving the
plan.
bird.
He suggested
The
to
birdie
make
bird.
concessions to the nationalists, the way he called them back then.
hopefully I can catch a couple more of that. It's kind of funny when they do that.
Of independence.
I like how angry they get.
Basically, that was idea about creating a confederation.
I like catching how
and
angry they
give
get.
the right to every nation for self-determination. that was the basis of the Soviet state. First, in 1922, it was enshrined in the Declaration on the Establishment of the Soviet Union, and then after the death of Lenin, it was also enshrined in the Constitution of the USSR of 1924.
Definitely been getting more notice down here anyway.
We have a lot of questions. Raised a lot of questions. And first of them,
I think it's over. I think they came to an agreement.
Why?
They have until March 14th. I think
Were
they all
they
left yesterday. As far as what I
making
heard
all kinds
and
of
saw,
concessions
but, I mean, who
to
knows,
the
right?
nationalists at the
So now I think we're
outskirts
just waiting
of
for
the
the vote
empire
tonight.
to give to the administrative units
7 or 8
that were
o'clock tonight, I think.
supposedly
But I mean,
huge
even though how they vote, it still has to go to the Senate. It
oftentimes
has to go
that
past
had
that.
nothing to do with
But then
them.
we're going to find out what's
And
going
they
on
were
if it's
giving
going to
these
be
territories with the
if
population
another
of
convoy is going to pop up. We're just not
historic
sure.
Russia. And
So,
these
I'm just on
administrative
standby. I'll
units
wait and
were
see.
given status and shape of the
Yeah.
state entities. And once again, this begs a question.
Johnny,
Why
thank you. The
did they
Romanian
have to
trucker,
do
yes,
such
he
generous
was
gifts?
complying.
even the most
Broke his ribs
Latin
and
nationalists
punctured
couldn't
his
dream of.
kidney.
And at the
Videos are
same
out there.
time,
Yeah,
the Republic
I
arrived
have to see that. I
to
didn't see the
withdraw
video of
from the
him
new
of that
state
happening to him.
without any
I imagine.
preconditions.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I'll take
At
one.
first
Sure. What the
glance,
heck? Thank you so
it
much for
doesn't
that.
seem clear. It seems
That's okay. One's
like
good for now.
madness,
Thanks so
but
much for
only
that.
at
Yeah.
first glance, because
Tim
there is
Hortons,
an
Timbit there.
explanation. After the revolution, the main goal
Yeah, I got to
Bolsheviks
see
had
that,
was to
Chatty.
keep
Wow,
power,
that's
to stay
crazy.
at power
Yeah, I wish
at any cost.
I
And
got to see where that.
for this, they went
What
to
happened?
any
Was,
length
hey,
to sign
Chazer, they're saying
humiliating
Chatty says here. You know the Romanian
conditions of
trucker,
the truce
CSAV, yeah.
when the Kaiser's
Yeah,
Germany were
said that
the
there's
dire
videos of him
economic
complying and they
situation
were,
and the outcome of the
you know,
World War
where
I
they took him
was
down,
already
broke
almost
his
decided.
ribs, punctured a
And
kidney.
by giving any
Yeah.
concessions to
Yeah.
the nationalists inside the country.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can
From the
find the
point of view
videos.
of
Yeah.
the historic destiny of Russia and its people, Lenin's principles of building the state.
Yeah, I haven't saw the
were
video. I
a
want
mere
to see if I can
mistake.
find it.
That was much worse than a mere mistake. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, this has become absolutely obvious. Of course, what happened in the past cannot be changed, but at least we have to talk about it in honest and direct way, without any political agenda, without giving any political color to it. I can only add that the ideas of the current political realities, no matter how beneficial they might seem currently, under no circumstances cannot and should not be a basis of the building a state. I'm not blaming anyone, accusing anyone of anything. The situation in the country back then and after the Civil War and before the Civil War was incredibly difficult, was critical. And now I only can say that that's how it happened. That's a fact. That's a historical fact.
When I said, if President Putin invades Ukraine, there would be a West of Munich. Because, of course, Munich was two parts. It was the appeasement, but it was also the fact that all the way through Hitler lied and had a plan to aggressively invade large parts of Europe. And my point I was making was if he invaded, as I put in my own article, then we would be chasing a straw man, but all along President Putin had a predetermined plan. So I suggest, before she makes those sort of allegations, that she goes back to the history books, understand what Munich was about, and then she'll understand what I was saying. Because what we do know here is that time and time again, President Putin has ignored international law, ignored human rights, invaded countries, murdered British people on these streets through his orders in the GRU, and all she can do here is come here, stand up and tell us that we're in the wrong. Maybe she should go to Moscow and tell it
Coming
himself.
back to the history of the map, I would like to remind you that
John
back in
Barrett.
1922,
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I know my right honourable friend will agree. That Georgia is preferable to war. But does he accept that given Russian ambitions regarding Ukraine and events elsewhere, including the South China Sea, that the time has come finally for the UK to accept that we need to substantially increase our defence spending on a sustainable long-term basis, because Georgia is far more effective if you've got a strong armed forces.
The Prime Minister supported and delivered the biggest increase in defence spending since the Cold War. The £24 billion extra was to modernise our armed forces, as well as to make sure we were able to enter new domains where we are threatened by both Russia and other adversaries. That is the right track. We've always been consistent, as has the Prime Minister, which is fundamentally, if the threat changes, we should always be open to review. I think that's important. We should also recognise that we achieve our strength in the West through our alliances on our values and alliances on our defence spending. NATO is the best alliance for that. It is the keystone of European security. Our spending outstrips Russia, and our forces do as well. The only thing is we must make sure we continue is resolve. Resolve is what this crisis is about. We're resolved, the Prime Minister is resolved, the United Kingdom's resolved. We're going to stand up for our values against Putin's aggression.
Deputy Speaker, from a logistical perspective, what efforts are being made to ramp up the provision of the Ukrainian military's specific requests for additional equipment and parts from the Ministry of Defence? How is this resource being coordinated with international partners to secure all the required resources and kit needed for the Ukrainians to defend themselves, and how are they being trained in its use?
I'm in constant contact with my defence counterpart in Ukraine. We talk regularly. The Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary has been incredibly supportive. We're currently at the stage where we have supplied, as I talked about, the anti-tank weapons and other non-lethal equipment. Britain has been side by side with Ukraine since 2014-15, so there's been significant amounts of training and capacity building, and we will continue to
The paradox is that the more that Putin tries to draw countries towards Moscow, the more he repels them, and the more he revitalises the very alliance that he says he's most afraid of, NATO. But can I ask him specifically on sanctions? Will the UK, when it brings forward its package, ensure that they are synced with those from the United States, include action to